Hello guys, welcome everyone to Mando Monday. This series where you guys ask the questions and I of course answer them. This could either do with anything related to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Star Wars for an example, possibly LEGO as seen in the background over there, the future of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which later this week we will be putting a video out covering and putting the rumors to rest of Source 2 and pretty much why that is not guaranteed the next little while, what kind of music everyone listens to nowadays, or do I like and watch memes? If you guys have a question for next week's video, make sure you leave a comment down below. Ask Mando, ask your question, and I will try and do my best to get to them. This series has really become something I never really thought it would. It started off as just a small thing, like a small Q&A where I was barely able to get questions the first couple of episodes, and now we're at the point where we have so many questions where I am not physically able to get to them every single week. So that kind of makes it a little more special too. So if you leave a comment, you actually are kind of gambling at that point in time. If your comment's actually going to get picked, and I think this way will be better too, because if your comment does get picked, one, it's a good comment, and two, it might feel a little more special in that way. So I'm sorry I can't get to every single question, but it could be answered in the next week's video. I do take older questions from other weeks if they are still relevant, and we'll answer them in the next or current video that I make. And of course, this video wouldn't be possible if it weren't for our sponsors over there at Skins Monkey.
Hi you! Yes, you! Would you like to get $5 for free for your first trade? Just use skinsmonkey.com and get your extra skins. See description below to enjoy the special promotion and receive 5% cashback for trading your Csgo skins.
Now, our first question up here from Ruben. He says, ask Mando, as my Katowice 2019 investment went down like a lead balloon, what are your thoughts on flipping skins? For an example, going from nothing to a knife. Is it feasible? Is it possible? Have you done anything similar? So, yeah, back in the day, a lot of people went from trading nothing to a knife, or not nothing, but you'd go on Csgo Lounge when this thing was still up, and you would trade up every single skin when there wasn't a trade hold as well. I never really did this a whole lot. I was always the type of guy just to buy skins if I wanted one. I'd rather just not trade up. I'd just spend my money that I'd make from work or whatever and just spend it on CS. But I did have a few friends that literally went from trading like a couple of keys all the way up to a Karamba Doppler. And I had one friend actually do that 3 times differently. And that takes a very long time. Now as of today, it's pretty much next to impossible. The only way you'd be able to do that is if you were to go on a gambling website that's one, not sketch, that you can actually cash out on without spending or gambling any money on. And on top of that, you would have to go green or go on the wild card every single thing on roulette until, if it's 14 or 20 times of what you're playing or betting, for an example, you'd have to hit that like 2 or 3 times to get even like the crappiest knife in the game. Our second comment, more than question, he says, BH Production says, I love Mando Monday. Keep up the amazing content. Thank you, my guy. I really do appreciate it. It really means a lot. And I know this series has become a thing where a lot of people will tune in specifically for this. They don't watch a lot of my other videos, but they'll watch this kind of content. Helmet, I think the light went out in the helmet. There's just beeping. I don't think you guys can hear it, but it's going to explode, I feel like. Now, our third question up here is, of course, from Snowblaze. And oh my gosh, we have a whole lot of questions this week. But he says, ask Mando, how much more do you think the Operation Riptide will increase? Is it a good time to sell or hold until the major? So the case is right now, I've made 3 videos on this as of right now on public to the YouTube channel. I have 2 more coming, but essentially cases, especially this one specifically, is like playing CSGO Crash. If you aren't familiar with CSGO Crash is, or just Crash in general, it's pretty much where you put money in and you have to pretty much guess when it's going to crash. It literally is like that on a gambling website. And I think this is exactly the exact same thing. You're literally playing with fire in this sort of situation. It really depends until the Dreams and Nightmares case go down in quantity, which I actually had a response from Fels the other day on his video about this, and it was a pretty good response. It was a different take that I haven't seen yet on the community about the Dreams and Nightmares case, which also leads into the Riptide case, because they also have the same golds. Most people are going to try and get the golds from either of those cases. That's the reason the Riptide case has gone up so much. And I think the Riptide case, as of right now, I think it's a good time to sell. I think it's a really good time. I think it could go up more into the future. Obviously, that's not going to be for a very long time, but as soon as the Dreams and Nightmares case goes down in quantity, goes up in quantity, and obviously that's going to go down in price. And these skins are going to be unboxed a whole lot more in the next, few years, whenever or however long this case is in the activity drop pool for. So yeah, I would probably sell as of right. Just like a lot of case investments, like my Chroma 3 cases and my Clutch cases, as well as my Revolver cases, I actually recently sold most of them. Now the Revolver cases and the Chroma 3 cases I actually did sell because they were just too high for me to really keep in my inventory as of right now compared to what I bought them at. Now our fourth question up here is from the Angry Citizen of Reddit, and he says, ask Mando, do you think the Fracture case will climb in summer hype, or should I sell and buy Clutch cases, ? And this question was obviously from 4 days ago. As of making this video, so it's going to be 5 of the day it comes out. And my answer is still going to be the same. I think Right now, the fracture case I think will go up. It really depends though what case is going to get removed. And this is a very similar answer to I have with Stockholm. Sell while you still can make profit right now. That's kind of your way you're looking to look at it, not hold for the long term. The clutch case right now, how I see it as well, I don't think it's going to be the case that gets removed. I'll be pretty shocked and surprised if it gets removed, but take that with a grain of salt, obviously. And the reason I don't think it's going to get removed is, one, I have a video on covering the entire thing, which you should go watch if you are interested in this, but it's the most unboxed case in CS right now. There's not really a reason for Valve to take this out, and the reason the fracture case will most likely anyway, get removed is because there's most likely going to be a case, well, from what we've heard of and rumors and what the community wants, which Valve has been listening to the community, where they're going to contain, of course, shattered web knives with chroma finishes. Jesus did a video on it covering what they look like and how the possibilities are probably going to happen, because it's kind of been leading up to that for the past couple of years. And Valve is not going to want you to have another way of getting the old knives, the shattered web knives, specifically on the active duty drop pool. They're going to want you to buy keys and buy the new cases on the market to kind of keep the market flowing. That's just how I see it, but yeah, the clutch case is too high right now. I think it's going to come back down in price. The fracture case is pretty cheap, and it's one of the only cheap cases I would actually feel comfortable talking about maybe investing in right now, but even then, everything is just too damn expensive, especially if you're not going to be playing for the long-term game. I would just completely forget it, in my personal opinion. Now, our fifth question up here from Gurgle. We're just going to call you that, okay, my man? He says, ask Mando, do you think if Valve keeps releasing skins at this rate, the market will suffer? Now, this is actually similar to a video I made about a year ago when Operation Riptide came out, talking about how skins, essentially, if Valve keeps releasing these things, will the market survive in like 4 or 5 years time from now? Because why are people going to buy new older skins in CS, like the Dragon Lore and whatnot, if we keep, releasing a new op that's a covert every single year with an operation that looks pretty good? I mean, the past few have been pretty good. The gun gear was really, really awesome. The prints was really, really nice. Obviously, the off-fade wasn't the best, but I still think that could be really good in the future. And, with the most recent operation with the Desert Hydra, you have the black scope and non-black scope. There's so many different options right now. Long story short, this is going to be a whole video on its own that I'm going to redo, I think, in the future, but I think, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I think in 4 or 5 years' time, if CS is still thriving and skins are going to keep releasing, I do think at some significant rate, you're definitely going to see a downwards trend, I think, in skins, maybe on the older ones in the future. Not right now. They're always going to keep going up, the old ones, like the Crutch ones, like the Deagle Blazes, the Dragon Lores, the Howls, the Medusas, stuff like that. But I think we will see some sort of suffering in the market to some sort of degree in the future. But that's only kind of speculation, man, and I actually really like that question. Now, our next question up here is from Skull Reaper, and he says, ask Mando, why not make other types of CSGO videos to grow your YouTube channel, as investing currently is a very niche community, but I still love your content, by the way. So thank you, my man. I appreciate the question, and I have been trying to work on making other content, especially on this channel specifically. I've been trying to branch out to other things, like my best knife video and the best knives for a certain price. Those have been really, really successful, but CS is kind of one of those things where you can't make content forever on it, because this game is also so old. Like, making new content on a game like CSGO is extremely difficult, especially a video that will do very good. And I have tried other things in the past, which I do plan on doing some like nuked out series on CSGO, where it's similar to Call of Duty, where we try and get like 30 kills in a row in a deathmatch, where we're playing against extremely hard bots where they all have aimbot or something. I want to do something like that in the future. Things like Overwatch, I mean, they're kind of boring, right? So it's very difficult to make different content in the CS thing, which I'm trying to stretch out. I also, on top of that, have 3 other YouTube channels. I have a gaming channel, a shorts channel, and I have a Lego channel, which is kind of like my pride and joy right now, which I'm working very, very hard on. I just put a review up for Lego Star Wars if you guys want to go check it out and you haven't made it this far specifically into the video. It's called the Nitpicking Review. I have a nitpicking review of Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, because I do believe there are some things about that game I just find extremely odd and just not fun about it at all. But for the most part, it's really, really good. And no, I'm not completely hating on one specific movie for it. It's pretty much the entire game. Now, our boy Rave, okay, this guy, by the way, I don't talk to this guy, but he makes some pretty cool CSGO videos, just about random stuff. Most of them are short. But this guy comments, I like Star Wars, and I said, it's aight. So, I mean, I gotta agree, man. It's alright. It's not too bad. Not my favorite thing in the world, but it's alright. Now, our next question up, it's more of a comment, and this guy says, you didn't answer my question. And I said, I'm sorry. And this kind of goes into a part of what we talked about earlier in the video. It's very hard for me to pick a question out of the video, and specifically the comment section. Since this series has grown so much on YouTube, it's becoming very difficult for me to pick out a question from the YouTube comment section. One, there's just so many good ones, which I'm so thankful for you guys comment. And once again, it's actually going to be a lot better too for you guys, because it's going to feel a lot more special if your question actually does get answered in this video, in this series specifically. And Also, I didn't see your question from last week. I did click on your YouTube channel, and I didn't see you commented on last week's video, so that's just a heads up. If you guys do use links for your questions for taking me to a JPEG or a link to a certain website, I will not click on it, as well as they are automatically blocked by YouTube, because I don't want anyone getting scammed in the comments. I know most people won't do it, but there are that, niche group of people. Now, our boy Comrade says in comments, "You were underrated." Laugh my ass off. I appreciated that, brother. I try and do my best here for the CS community and just as a content creator in general. Now, back to the questions with Baramso, okay? This guy asks, where should I sell my knife? Well, it really depends. If you have a higher tier knife and you want to sell for cash, you could do one of two things. You could do it on buff, and then you get like liquidated items like an Op Asimov or an M9 Bayonet Doppler or something like that, and then cash it out on Steam or a different website over here in North America if you have a really high tier knife. Or you can sell on a place like CS Deals, Bitskins, Skinport, which I have an affiliate link down in the description if you guys want to use that, if you do want to sell or buy anything specifically for CSGO, or Skins Monkey, like our sponsor. Yeah, it just really comes down to what kind of knife you have, if it's going to be hard to sell over here in a North America or European website, and if you want to sell it for cash. That's probably the biggest thing, because you're probably going to lose at least 30% of your value that you put into it or bought it for if you sell it for cash. That's just usually how it goes. Now, our second to last question up here from Benjamin Wu. This guy says, ask me, what do you think of investing in Katowice 2015 crafts over the stickers themselves? So this is a video I also made a video on not that long ago. Actually, it was like a little over 2 weeks ago at this point, talking about how investing into certain things, specifically, this is one of the main topics in this video, how sticker crafts for an investment are some of the worst things you can invest in CS. The main reason of this is because not everyone is going to want that certain weapon skin, especially if it's something older, like a blue laminate or whatnot. Not a lot of people, it's a very niche community of people, they're going to want to buy Titan Hollows from Katowice 2014 or 2015 on a thing like a blue laminate, especially for a more expensive price. Because there's so many newer stickers out in CS right now too, you can make so many cool crafts and so many newer crafts with Stockholm and possibly the Antwerp major here very soon. That's going to be another thing and deciding factor for a lot of these teams. And as soon as you slap a sticker on a gun and weapon in CS, you lose so much of its value, right? And it's also just a really small community of people that are going to want that craft specifically. So as a play skin investment, I still think it's not the greatest. I think you're better off with playing with an operation skin or whatnot. It's just a lot safer. Not to say you can't make any profit with it. I'm pretty sure I have done with that specifically with the Optic P2000 I have in my inventory, where it has Optic gaming stickers from Atlanta 2017, but those stickers have risen so much up in value, and I bought it for $5 in CS money like 5 years ago, and now that thing's worth $20, so it's not that much, but you get what I'm saying. Now our last question up here from Clutch, and he says, ask Mando, what do you think about the Aquamarine Revenge for the AK? Is it a good investment? So we take a look at the Aquamarine Revenge over here on Steam. It is currently like $80 plus, and that's kind of crazy to think about. Buy orders are for $76, I believe. And just this past like year roughly, I mean, these things have grown so much. It's been really crazy to think about. Just over a little year ago, it was half of the price. So this thing, yeah, it's not too bad. The Falchion case is also growing up a lot in value, and I think it's possibly due to this thing specifically. The Falchion knives aren't really too valuable and people don't want them a whole lot, but I think it's actually a decent investment. Right now though, like everything else, the lower tier side of skins aren't the greatest thing to invest in. This thing really boomed up recently because of the new Chinese website Upin, and that kind of goes in the last part of the video. Do not invest right now. That's just my personal take and opinion. If you guys want some professional advice, not even professional, just what I would do. Going into the market right now is just really risky. There could be profit to be made. You could make 3 times as what you're putting in right now, but that's really odd. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and this week's Mando Monday. Once again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you comment down below and subscribe. Make sure you comment your question for next week's video, Ask Mando, and then ask your question. I'm out, guys.